Hello friends, it's me again. I'm showing up here again today to talk about how to rediscover joy in healthy and natural foods. As many of you know, I'm quite a big health freak, and I think I'm quite grateful actually for having my mother, who was very health conscious, and she helped to get a lot of healthy habits when I was growing up. And we ate very clean, very fresh food with lots of fruit and vegetables. And I'm very grateful for having had that kind of an upbringing. But even so, I find that it is very easy for me as well to just fall off the wagon of eating healthy, and it can happen pretty quickly. So as some of you know, I've just been to a 10-day silent meditation retreat in a temple in Thailand, and part of my experience and discovery and journey there was to do with food and with my relationship to food. And I feel like it's been rejuvenated through that experience, and I wanted to share with you some of the insights. And if you're also interested in looking over your eating habits and rediscovering joy in eating healthy, I'll give a few tips at the end of what I think could be done if you don't have the time and space to do the 10-day retreat like I did. So in the past few years, I find that I've been eating really lusciously all over the world. I've eaten in wonderful Michelin star and non-Michelin star, but still amazing restaurants in many countries, in France, in Spain, in New York, in London, in Italy, in Moscow. And it's been, I was lucky to have access to that kind of exceptional culinary experience on a very regular basis, and I'm very grateful for that. But what I was also finding is that even an incredible, exquisite meal from one of the best chefs in the world can be useless to us as a nutrition, and also useless to us as an enjoyment if we are not present with it, if we are not considering why we are eating this specific foods. So even eating that way, it doesn't mean that we are actually enjoying our foods to the best, even if someone spent hours creating a beautiful plate. So if you're finding similar experiences, leave your comments below or leave your questions. I can ask them during this video or after. So the mindset at the temple, as you know, as you may know, monks, they eat very modestly, and they don't eat after afternoon, so after 12 o'clock. So at the temple we had breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we had lunch at 12:30, and that was that for food. And then we had a cup of tea in the afternoon. And I found in the beginning, when I arrived to the temple, to be quite fair, I really didn't like the food. It seemed too simple, the rice seemed overcooked, the curry seemed too sweet. So I ended up being really picky about how I eat at the temple, and just kind of at times I would just rebel and just have a few pieces of cabbage and cucumbers instead of eating what was on offer. And over the days we were encouraged to look at the theme of our attachment to food for the sensual pleasure, and how we get lost in it, and how we can become a slave to food yet never feel completely satisfied, and also overeating and getting addicted to foods that is causing all sorts of issues for us physically, with physical diseases and ailments, and emotionally, as you know, food has quite a direct effect on your mood. And you know that if you've had a steak and you feel tired and you feel cranky, and then you need a coffee to wake yourself up. Not to say that I am not eating steak anymore, but I'm just saying what I'm learning is everything in moderation. So at some point during the retreat, I was getting so upset about food. Smile. A friend of mine asked me to smile. Okay. At some point I thought, I'm just going to stop being picky, and I'm just going to take equal measures of whatever is on offer. And to my great surprise, I was amazed by how mind-blowing the foods were tasting, even simple foods like rice, like steamed vegetables. And the other thing that I also try to discover is eating in moderation. So putting on my plate less than my eyes want to eat, for example. So I would take, say, 60% of what I thought should be on my plate. And also I really took a long time to eat and enjoy my food and appreciate the food. And I cannot tell you, I've just saying, like, those experiences I've had of eating in amazing Michelin star restaurants do not compare to how I was enjoying the food in the temple in that moment, when I was eating slowly, in moderation, and eating simple foods. So when I mean, it's not just to do with food, I think it's to do with all sorts of experiences in our life. When they're done in moderation, they feel sweeter, they feel tastier, they feel more alive. So, for example, I mean, even water, you know, when I was feeling, I decided to wait until I feel quite thirsty to drink. And whenever I drank at that stage, the water would taste sweet. And I've tried to repeat this experiment a few times, and it happened over and over again. And I drink it for as long as the water tastes sweet. The moment it doesn't taste sweet anymore, I stop. And I felt, you know, I kept perfectly hydrated throughout this time. So I feel like moderation is moderation in food, I mean in other things as well. But for example, we're talking about food today, is super important if you are to truly enjoy your food and keep up the good health, good physical health, and good emotional health. So yeah, so at some point, you know, I would just try and put on my plate something very simple, like you know, a bit of rice, and even rice would taste pretty reasonably good. So I feel very happy that I had this opportunity to really rejuvenate my taste buds. And now that I got back from the retreat, I am really delighting in eating really healthy and really simple food. It takes me never more than half an hour to make, and most of the time it takes 10-15 minutes just to put a few things together. And I find that the simpler the better. So before I used to make these huge salads with lots of ingredients, and now I just cut up the vegetables. I'll show you. Put them on my plate, and then I just enjoy everyone piece by piece. I take a carrot. I enjoy a carrot. I take time to slowly enjoy it. I take a cucumber, lettuce leaf. There is some buckwheat and nice eggs. Supposed to be ramen. And I have not been enjoying my food as much as I am now, and it is very strange for me to see and very encouraging. And my hope is that I sustain this, because eating this way first gives me a lot of enjoyment in the food that I eat, in the simple food that I eat, Secondly, I feel that I have more energy after eating. So I haven't been having coffee for a month and a half now. So I've stopped before the retreat, and after the retreat I don't feel the need. And more so, I don't even feel like a lull in the afternoon. I don't feel like having an afternoon nap. And I feel light, and I feel if it is affecting my mood, I think it's in a positive way. And yeah, just makes me feel good. And it looks beautiful, isn't it? Looks so happy. So, moderation. So, if you want to try experiencing food in this way, refreshing your taste buds, you don't have to do a long retreat. But what helps is, we're constantly bombarded with options and things on offer, and we have the craving. So it does help to do some sort of a detox, or decide to eat very simply for a week or a day or 2 days, depending how long you have or you want to try this for. But at the very least, you could try, for example, eating very simply for 1 day, just to decide that you're only going to eat one simple thing that they like, a rice or maybe a cucumber or something that doesn't have a lot of flavor, and also eat it in moderation. So you could do something that they do in the temple, so have a breakfast and lunch and skip dinner, and next day when you're having breakfast, see if it tastes any different then. And another, obviously being mindful of food really helps. So we've been eating in silence there, so I could really experience and taste the food, and I'm taking time to have some lunches by myself here as well. That helps me to enjoy food, so being quiet and slow, so eating things slow. I know it's very hard to do that when you're living a busy lifestyle in a big city. But if you just have time to, say, enjoy your breakfast in the morning by yourself and just solely focus on the food, the point of contact of food with your senses, with your taste buds, with your tongue. And take smaller portions. Try to take smaller portions. So if you think you want, just take 2/3 of what you would normally eat. There's another thing to really up your enjoyment of food, of healthy food. And of course, I just find that healthy food has more flavor, like fruit and veggies, but you can obviously experiment with, moderation and mindful slow eating with all types of food. But yeah, I just find that now fruits taste mind-blowing, and veggies. So I really want to keep on that space. So partly talking through this is helping me to also be more mindful and remember that this is how I want to eat, and this is how I enjoy to eat. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say for today. Enjoy your lunches and dinners, and let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or any other tips that you use to stick to healthy, nutritious foods and enjoy it. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you soon. I'm getting hungry now. I'm gonna go back to my food. Bye bye.